Praying. Lots of praying. Father, thank you for this gathering. For this special week. We come for you and we want you to honor you. I'm just thank you for guiding and for us. And thank you for all that you do for us. And help us, Father, to appreciate every detail of all the things you've done for us. Oh, I would sit down on yonder. And the Lord has spoken to me and he said, I'm not going to talk about this. Not just for this, but does anybody know what Monday Thursday means? Monday Thursday. Monday. You know, right? Monday Thursday is what they call it, the night that passed for the Passover before they took life. And the Testaments.
It might be sin. Is it the night he went to Gethsemane?
Yes.
Yeah.
We also,
The dog ate the whole word.
Dog peed on the floor, all times 10.
it's too bad.
Since stop taking the dress.
I just tell everybody, I was talking about what Monday Thursday was. Somebody I talked to today didn't know what Monday Thursday was, and I said, well, it's been the night of the Passover, it's usually to the 70. That was the night that he spent the night in the prison at Caiaphas' house. At his house, or the prison where they held Jesus besides myself. But it was down in a dungeon. And there was just this little area. And I'm sure they had him chained. And when I was down there, the presence of the Lord was so powerful. I could get away. It was so kind of embarrassing, but I couldn't help it, because there were people waiting to come down. But this presence was so real, so tangible. And I went through for us on that night. And beyond our comprehension, I can't even imagine being his mother and she went through the watch it and all his disciples. Today, as I was praying, the Lord said, reminding me about how the disciples must have felt in the tense situation of, Jesus went with them. And Peter was so upset and cut the ear off and could have been taken to jail and crucified himself for taking off the ear. Because he was a priest.
Of the priest.
But he was a guard of the life. And it was a death sentence to do that. That's why Jesus and his mercy put his hand here that. Now, I'm sure there was another reason, but that was a good enough reason to put ear back. This wasn't time for Peter to know that he had a lot of work to do. And so when they took Jesus, I'm sure the disciples were really confused and thinking, what's happening? I've been thinking about the times that we're living in, how so many times in our own lives we experience things and we think, God, why did you let this happen? How could this be in your plan? Has anybody felt that way in their life? The Lord was really speaking to me about all those things that we go through, that it seems like it's the end. And I can't even imagine speaking to the science. All of the next stages of what happened, the beatings, they must have been very. And I don't think Jesus could have prepared them because it doesn't say that he prepared them, but I'm sure he did for say things that were indicative of. He did say those things, but they didn't understand. And they couldn't comprehend. And so going through all that the disciples did, I'm thinking of the things that in this end time we are going to be going through. All have things that we just don't get it. Where are you, God? And yet God is perfecting everything that concerns us, not some things, everything that concerns us. And to look at Jesus on the cross as his disciple, all he did, and to God is protecting everything that concerns him. And there's no way. They look to God is over. What in the world? Guys, they're angry, seeing it. What were they going to do? I mean, the end, we thought it was the beginning and just, we just like the end. And so, the Lord said, he wanted us to talk about the things that we went through and about those things as we are pressed into our future and even what that looks like. The things that I've gone through personally, I believe, challenges that we've had personally are that which has been helping us, honing us, and preparing us for such a time as this. And if we got to remember that everything that the Lord allows to happen or does happen, it will be used for our good. And He's perfecting it, even though we don't understand it. And we live in a fallen world, and we are, we open the door from time to time, even unawares of the enemy. And I do believe that in the season, as we're thinking on what happened in that this 3 days, 4 days, seeing Judas betray Jesus. I'm sure the disciples thought, what? And we saw Judas. And they must have just been totally just ready to fall. I think we would be too. And so, but it was only God's plan. It was in for new. And everything in our lives, whether we're young or old, He is working His plan in us. And He is working His word in us. That is why we have to be taken, because it's changing us. It is literally tangibly changing us. Faith is a substance that changes us. Faith in His word, and the word is changing us. And I know I'm not the same person I was when I first started doing sonship. There's nobody here I've seen that is not saved. We're very changed people. And even through all of the hardships that we've gone through. And so in this hour of even in our lives personally now, and what we're going, countries going through the. It's a very, 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 unpredictable, uh, situation that the whole world is in. But we know, and God is himself, and reveal himself. We know that there is a plan and purpose. And that we, as we understand that and cling to that and bring into that, we can help others who aren't able, because everything's changed. We do not live in the same world we did 2 years, 3 years. Everything is changed. But God, that is our taking us to each one of us in so many different ways. We could all do this tonight to have this faith with this body, out of this gate. We could all give that to him. And so I thought, the Lord, we need to go through that thing. That. So let's look at some of the scriptures about the perfection. Does anybody want to add anything? If you want to add something, please just jump in. This is sort of in part two, but I just learning to speak, and I know I sound kind of funny because I have a new mouth, but and so my talking is funny, so let's try it in here. But let's look at some of these scriptures. Some of the things. Yeah.
So, you remember when Jesus referred sight to the blind guy? Like his eyes, God saw everybody's dreams, give them spiritual eyes, and give them that one. Well, we kind of joked in the past before about, did Jesus make Malchus regrow a new ear, or did he attach the old one? Right? And the joke was that if he had regrown a new one, his ear had a temper, he picked up that ear off the ground, like, Jesus, but I think the consensus then was that Jesus reattached. Aaron had something to say on that once upon a time. But I wonder if that allowed him then to hear the Spirit of God, the way that the guy can see that before he said. It's a question of speculation. Because I mean, we know that had to absolutely rock his world, getting his ear cut off, having it put back on from the guy that we arrested. And it wasn't regards for realized he didn't be involved. It's like the word you use Sunday for I am. It's Greek. They go, I'm. But the lead the Hebrew is Aisha. But when they said Aisha in the curtain, they all thought that the power had someone, and it still wasn't convicting. The same thing. Stay. Well, the Jews. Well, it's an order. And they were looking at it. And he wasn't trying.
I just don't think that that's what happened. I mean, as far as them falling down You know, they just can't think of that. I've heard strange things said over the years about that. You know, the Holy Spirit, that. Funny how people don't believe in our Holy Spirit way. Silly things that. Praise God. Well,
Remember the thing, I'm here saying more because of what I have. People think himself the I shall, if he didn't get started on the day. Okay, Joe,
everybody was order. And so.
Try to go chronological.
I did, I didn't do it here. And, and, uh,
Yeah, it seems like it would be fine. So Jesus. The temple was 22 on the bottom. The centurion who stood facing him saw that this is that in this way he breathed his last. He said, "Truly, this man is." So
I was gonna teach on the temple and what that meant, you know. Just gonna, what,
we were babies.
okay. Well, and I'm sure most everybody here knows, does anybody here not know what curtain was that was when it's, anybody not know?
almost doing guys.
You were gonna ask? Okay.
The veil to the holy of holies, or the great presence of God, the Father. I don't know what the temple structure was like, Aaron or Dr. Toad could probably speak to it, but in Old Testament Exodus, that you can actually have a entrance, pull it back and walk in, and you can like teleport it into there. But I don't know if the temple in Jerusalem had the same. As far as the prayer goes, yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
On
only,
the splitting, so only the high priest could enter that part of the temple once a year. He had to be dressed and in a perfect position to do it. Jesus tore it and makes perfection accessible for anyone who will, whomsoever will. The Lord sounds like David could go at will.
Structure is that. Right, if you can see, right, so there had to be a change. Change the law.
Also, the prophetic fulfillment that Jesus said to the priests, he says, 3 days. They mocked him, but then when he died, the ground shook, the veil tore. Naturally, it looked like a disaster. Spiritually, it's the defeat of death.
Then he got the essence. And that 10th death, curtain was torn. You have access to all. You've got the essence of that whole thing.
Yeah, the real question is, who hit the ground faster? The soldiers in the guards or the priests that were in the holy place? The curtain. Bet you they hit the ground fast.
Yes.
It's just all trying to be honestly at this point. I'm trying to make honestly, and let's follow along together. With with
14 starts the Lord's Supper. Now the feast of the unleavened bread drew nigh. It's called the Passover. And the chief priests and scribes sought how they might kill him, for they feared the people. Then entered Satan into Judas, surnamed Iscariot, being the number of the 12. And he went his way and commuted with the chief priests and captains, how he might betray unto him or them. And they were glad and covenanted to give him money. And he promised and sought opportunity to betray him onto them in the absence of the multitude.
There's another thing. I'm sure all the disciples were totally shocked to see that happen. I think it would be kind of like, you know, one of us who was walking together for so long, like all of a sudden, we'd be that drastic to see something like that. How can he betray? How can Judas betray him? Although he had, the Lord had in the Passover meal, spoken about, one of you will betray me. I'm sure they were still, that was what's still in the back of their mind when they saw Judas was like, what? This is Judas. Yes, we did. But we just had to allow it. We opened the door. We do it.
Then came the day of the unleavened bread, when Passover must be filled. And he sent Peter and John, saying, Go, prepare us the Passover, that we may eat. And they said unto him, Where wilt thou that be prepared? And he said unto them, Behold, when ye are entering the city, there shall a man meet you, bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him into the house he entered. And ye shall say unto the good man of the house, The master saith unto thee, Where is the guest chamber, where I shall eat the Passover with my disciples? And he shall shew you a large upper room furnished there, make ready. And they went and found as he had said unto them, and they made ready the Passover. Then when the hour was come, he sat down, and the 12 apostles with him, and said unto them, I have desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. For I say unto you, I will not any more eat thereof till it be filled in the kingdom of God. And he gave thanks, and said, Take this and divide it among yourselves. For I say unto you, I want to drink of the fruit of the vine till the kingdom of God shall come. And he took the bread and gave thanks, brake it, and gave unto them, saying, This is my body, which is given for you. This do in remembrance of me. Likewise, also the cup after supper, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my blood, which is shed for you. But behold the hand of him that betrayed me with me on the table. And truly, the
Son of Man goeth, as it was determined, but woe unto that man by whom he is betrayed. And they began to inquire among themselves, which of them it was that should do this thing. And there was also a strife among them, which of them should be counted the greatest. And he said unto them, the kings of the Gentiles exercise lordship over them, and they exercise authority upon them are called benefactors. But ye shall not be so. If he is greatest among you, he that is greatest among you, let him be as the younger, and he that is chief, as he doeth serve. For whether is greater, he eateth at meat, he that serveth is not he that sitteth at meat. For I am among you as he serveth. Ye are they which are continued with me in my temptations. And I appoint unto you the kingdom, as my Father hath appointed unto me, that ye may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom, and sit on thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. The Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan hath desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. But I pray for thee, that thy faith fail not. Then thou art covered, converted, strengthened in thy brethren.
He's telling them all these things that I think they're wondering. As he's talking, I doubt that the other pastoral meals that he had with them, he didn't tell them these kind of things. He was preparing them. He said, please, pray to him.
I think, this was something, I think Jesus had already rehearsed the way to see about what they would not do. And I think that's why, he says, and I always find this to be one of the most revealing things about who Jesus is and his character when he says, there's a desire that I desire to. Really interesting is how he makes this statement knowing that Judas is there among them. And what it makes me think is this was still, when you look at this, looking back, this was his way of saying, I know what you're going to do. And yet I'm still in provision. And yet I'm still with desire to extend myself to you. And I just think of that as a powerful of his love for us. And just his willingness, Jesus would have given this. And I feel like that's him showing us too. Like it's still my desire to, orchestrate this whole life for you because I want to make provision. For me, I know how I portray my Lord. And I know all that I've fallen short. And, the grace that he continues extends to me every time. So I think that is, it's the way that it's phrased in here. Maybe it's just a different version of this, but I just think it really expresses the heart, the love of God. Jesus.
Desire to desire, giving of the universe. Giving from the earth. Fantastic gift. I kind of focused on that was why he had a desire to share that he would. If you set this up and establish the whole body of prayer.
Times as prophets, because I know that sometimes it's husbands. We, no, no, no. It's not as hard to us as, you know, it's like, well, let's just do it, you know. It's not, we don't really grasp and take in what's actually happening. If he is imparting again himself to us, and as a covenant, we are renewing them. Every time we say renewing, we're saying yes, yes, changing, continue to change. And I appreciate acknowledging that we've done for us. It's a powerful statement and it's a powerful transformation that if we're, we have to receive it by faith. Everything we receive in by faith. And to take it casually. You know, I think this is one, that, you know, do this in remembrance of me. But this, and he explained to them what it was, you know, this is my part.
Two things. I thought about because it's not that this. Word says it's Jesus gave him so soft. When you took it, you could go right over it. Now it's most interesting. It says, there's many sick among you because they do not discern their different thought. I think to myself, isn't it interesting that Satan refused Iscariot after Jesus honored Judas? So giving this a young year, giving something, it's a sign that people actually. Yeah. And when Jesus did that, he was so unworthy, treasure, that the door was swung right open for safety. That's not confident in meetings. Says, do this. And I'm glad he didn't do it. I'm glad he didn't do it at the communion where he said this.
And that Jesus name, the bread, God, as soon as he.
Well, sins. We assume, remember, this was speaking Thursday night. Sister,
I didn't say much.
Gosh, Sunday.
he was talking about Jesus 100% human as well as 100% God. When he walked on this earth, we assumed that he had full knowledge as God. Remember the woman that had the issue of blood? He said, "Who touched me?" He didn't turn around and say, "You touched me." There were certain things that he did not know as a man. So I speculate that even Jesus walked by the Spirit of God. But if you walk by the Spirit, it doesn't necessarily know everything. And did Jesus possibly know about it? In the Son? You know, right now, I would just guess.
It's impossible. Every time I read Saul, or it's talking about their words, but your connection said bread.
There's another gospel word that says, he confronted him and says, "You are going to, one of you will betray me."
giving Judas the opportunity to repent. And his refusal to repent, I believe, is what opened him up to allow Satan in. He gave him that last opportunity because he was going to die in the very way it was already set up. But when he confronted him as he was leaving and said, "One, he was going to betray me," and then when he refused the conviction, it says, "Well, go do what you're going to do first." He gave him that last opportunity. He refused that opportunity. It says that's when Satan entered.
Sent those clause, that's clarification.
It's all timing.
When he thought, when Jesus said it, but we can do. And word, and he's been some big job. So remember what Paul said was that there are some of you who don't discern God. And so the thing is that for Judas, he could see that he was taking the body of Jesus, he saw it. He didn't discern the holiness. And remember, Judas was pilfering money and offers all longs at the time. But then so Jesus so or was it a trap? No, I don't think it was a trap. I think Jesus fully desired. I think even as long as the remember Jesus is personification in 1 Corinthians 13. Love never fails. He always desired. He always, and as Reverend Adel said, even coming to that place, it was an honest desire for the students to reach out to Jesus again. And so I think when it's Satan to Judas, it's like it's over. So that's why he said, go to
All the gospels and that counts us in John. And in John 13, starts 13:21. Jesus said, and I'll say, one of you betray me, the disciples of the teacher, who's going to be, who's going to be. But Jesus answered, he it is to whom I shall give a salt, morsel of bread, when I have dipped it. And then he dips it and hands it to Judas. And so he was using it as answer the question, identify. This is the person who's going to betray me. And it said that after he had taken the morsels, Satan entered Shem, and he said to him, that doeth you quickly. So he said, who's going to betray me? He said, the person I'm going to give this to you.
I think it's really funny though, because he's just saying you're dipping the morsel and handing it over was a sign of infection.
Yeah.
Judas returned his infection with a kiss.
But I call him identifying and saying, still showing affection. That's just.
So. I remember that despite what Judas did, despite his betrayal, Jesus still forgave. But he got Judas could forgive himself for his actions. Yeah, despite the betrayal, despite what Jesus through, he still forgave him his having anything. Despite everything he'd done to Jesus and his disciples, Jesus still forgave him. That there shows power of God and he still loves even if they make a mistake or they sin, so he still loves them.
Well, we have a responsibility in that our faith to receive what he does. And I don't know that Judas, because of like Bishop said, Judas was standing in the way of because he couldn't forgive himself. He stood in the way of being able to receive Jesus. But yes, Jesus is absolutely willing to forgive.
I don't know. I'm just trying to, because like, Alyssa's explanation is the account of John. I'm under the impression, and I'm trying to support it with scripture, that David did all. John mentioned that he needed it to Judas. When he served all 12 of them a sign during that. So he didn't necessarily identify Judas as I understood it. But I could be wrong. I just don't know if I am. And I'm kind of curious.
It's something with you. The next person I give this thing to, for the training. Here. Here, back. I had to, well, all of you are going to have my phone stuff. But like, I could have given all of these. I'm saying, first, I'm happy to give this to you. But that's how I really come to John, and I don't see, and maybe I don't look at Matthew, Mark, but I look at that part. But it was a 5 minutes. Yeah, he was going to try to see. That's the house.
It's listening. He said that he saw it, he lost. So, I've seen that thing.
There's a difference too between being a betrayer and being lost. I think, even in handing the stop, let's say it did happen, as Justin said, or regardless, and handing the stop, if it does, we're all betrayers. And all of the disciples had at one point, I don't necessarily think he had to have the foreknowledge. But it was clearly an indication that everybody had fallen short of the mark, and that one would be lost. That was the distinction, is the difference between falling short and then one just.
So, after this experience, where did you go to? So, yeah, so he went to, yeah, so he went to, he went,
We tried to build a Jewish tradition with.
which is why I think he was the one that's. He did.
But again, he's still like you can see.
So we understand that Judas did not decide the body. It's the Jesus that we have seen it.
Speaks of a narrative change. He written this is in John.
I know, it's John.
Okay.
It's John.
It's John.
Thank you.
He chose, so it's, I'm sure we have several people, but he chose Judas to be his disciple. Judas chose to be his betrayer. It's regular. I don't think Jesus chose him as his betrayer, but in order that the scriptures may be fulfilled, Jesus knew that one of them was going to betray him. And it was obvious by the way Jesus was behaving. I know Jesus knew sin. Yeah. Again, yeah. Something that yeah, in this habitual sin.
It's referring to the fact that Jesus had chosen Judas as a disciple, not as his preferred. Okay. Because it says after the circle was over, the third cup was the cup of redemption. So he was originally offering Judas redemption.
You know what is always is John 17, where he describes the fact that he prayed. And since I know that the chronological order of John is different, you know, you can't say because verse 1, verse 2, they follow chronologically, more like a mosaic. So the question I have always asked for years is, when did he pray John 17 about the betrayer, the person that was betrayed? I lost none of these, except, and he did, this man was known before the foundations. So I think, did he say it, was he praying it in the garden of Gethsemane? Was he praying it prior to the Last Supper? We know John 17 is recorded, but it doesn't give us a chronology.
Oh, social.
And he came out, went, as he was wont, the Mount of Olives. And his disciples also followed. And when he was at the place, he said unto them, pray that ye enter not into temptation. And as he was withdrawn from them about a stone's cast, and kneeled down and prayed, saying, Father, if thou be willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done. And there appeared an angel unto him from heaven, strengthening him. And being in agony, he prayed more earnestly. And his sweat was as it were great drops of blood falling down to the ground. When he rose up from prayer and was come to his disciples, he found them sleeping for sorrow, and said unto them, why you sleep? Rise and pray, lest you take.
That he asked them to pray, and it reminds me of a woman. Are we, when we pray, are we going to as there was a time and season, okay? And season, that Jesus is coming. And I have heard the Lord say over and over again, this is the season that his disciples, his people, not fall asleep. We have to be in prayer and more ever, and that is critical. And I don't want to, I'm going to be in a position of everything. I mean, that's what happens. So we don't miss. There's, you know, our prayer one seriously in these last acts. If we're in the last act, I don't know how long that's going to last. And the Lord, he sacrificed that this recognize we're back. It's coming up to the prayer. Urgency in this hour. Because the temptation is going to be very great. And the confusion, and it's going to be very much the same time. And it's last time.
The last couple of verses, it says, Jesus tells his disciples, I say unto you, all watch. Again, I say unto you, watch. And so the word that we have today, I think is more salient that we are to watch and to pray. And not also like the wise to few churches. Fill our vessels with oil. Let our light so shine.
Don't fall asleep or fall into temptation. What does that mean? In that context, when he's saying, stay away. And so that you will not give in to temptation. What is he talking about there? Like, what kind of temptation?
The biggest battle is to, I'm always fighting carnal nature. We all have carnal nature. When I want to do good, I do bad. All of it. So I think the thing is about that. You notice that when Jesus said, stay here and pray, when he came back, he admonished them. That you pray with them. It's interesting that Jesus always expects the best things. But when he catches us dozing, he comes to us and wakes us up. So I believe that they were tired after dinner. I don't know about you, if you eat turkey dinner, so not enough. They had 3 questions. It's 3 gulps of wine. But I think can't be doing this. That Jesus was pointing out that you're going to have to overcome your questions. I actually just pray. Sometimes that's very difficult for us. If we want to go to the house of God, these things are on me. Will I suffer through into the house of God? We'll do it, but now I'm really going to give everybody church. The time to set aside and to pray. Oh, I really need this extra 30 minutes. We're constantly battling.
That's what we hear. And, you know, if he doesn't speak, if we can't hear him speaking to us, we can, we'll miss mornings, we'll miss lessons, we'll miss a lot of things. But we have to connect it with words. We have to have connection. And if we don't take the time in prayer to learn how to hear him speaking to us personally and through the word, then we are going to be at great disadvantage. And we cannot, we're coming to power of this time of that we cannot be costly. We have to know what to do next. We have to know what God is speaking to the church. We have to know. It's critical, and it can be life or death. It could be eternity. It was for him, it was for Judas. And so it's critical that we take our relationship with him serious and learn how to communicate with greater and be used by him. It's critical. Americans have a hard time with this. You know, we're just we're just doing a part of the whole. We're distracted. There's a lot of things that people are preoccupied. I to make that. You know, there's always something gonna get in the way of us trying to sleep. Is was very bad that night, but I can't emphasize enough what the Lord is saying. I was in the prayer this time, and spending time in prayer. When I say prayer, learning how to prayer is something you learn and you grow in, and you become. You can pray the same way you did 5. Let them know that they're praying, pray with them. They have to know.
Yet spake, behold, a multitude, and he that was called Judas, one of the 12, went before them, drew near unto Jesus to kiss him. But Jesus said unto him, Judas, betrayest thou, Son of Man, to kiss? When they which were about him saw what would follow, they said unto him, Lord, shall we smite with the sword? And one of them smote the servant of the high priest and cut off his right ear. Jesus answered and said, Suffer ye thus far. And he touched his ear and healed it. Then Jesus said unto the chief priests and captains of the temple and the elders, which were come to him, Be ye come out as against a thief, with swords and staves. When I was staying with you in the temple, ye stretched forth no hand against me. But this is your hour and the power of darkness.
Isn't it interesting that Jesus says that? He says, when I was in the temple, when I was in the house of the Lord, they didn't get it. That's away from the temple, it was in Gethsemane. And I think it's noteworthy that Jesus lets us know that in the house of the Lord, there's a place of safety. Or when you're with Jesus, it's a place of safety. Then it goes to show you, boy, I put myself there on the line here. It goes to show you, should we have weapons? Jesus told us to go outside.
A strong tower. Right. And then say, maybe. It says, righteous man into it. I'm banking on the word. It's not against guns, I'm just making a statement.
I always interpreted that song, righteous.
That is a funny illustration.
That would be next.
Yeah, like it made sense to do like you're running to the should hit it, say it. God is strong tower, just watch your lips.
Study the word, we come in unity and
Yeah, it's really great to speak to your question. I don't know specifically if Jesus was referring to temptation he saw in Peter, James, and John. Those stuck around. He said, John later, that John ran away, lost his clothes, Peter betrayed Jesus. But as far as like today, as far as today goes, he gave them the equation for temptation. Watching. Emotional stress and unrestricted are they tell me something they were able to fall asleep. See how upset.
your needs is power.
Then you can say, this is. They follow me.
Look for them.
This is a very special night, Holy Thursday. And time when we really need to examine ourselves. I think we should all say it's the ACP. I have to fight my life. I have to forgive me of mistakes. I think your body is your body. Thanks, Claire.
Anybody have prayer need that we need to have?
Let's keep the common courtesy as in prayer. Here next to Sharon, she's her dogs are running. Yes.
I just feel like it's.
She works, you know, I do review for her, she has served our family this year and last year so that I could go back to work. And it's exhausting, giving up toddlers. She loves to do it and she never complains, but she definitely needs refreshing. Otherwise, she's gonna quit on me.
Father, thank you.
Come to you. Only tonight, Lord, just ask for your blessings over each and every one of us tonight, Lord. It's amazing to learn about you. It's know you. To know what you've done for us. It's just beautiful. Everything. Sacrifice that you made for each and every one of us, Lord. All the earliest people who have been surgeries, Lord, if you are the physician, you just keep your hands on them, Lord, and be in control of the situation. We have doctors and the everything that is involved in surgery, all the things that are involved, Lord, that you have your hand on everything, and whatever your will is, Lord, it will be done. And Father, I pray for Sharon, that you give her strength, give her energy, Lord, to chase down the grandchildren. I know it's hard, it's taxing on her body, Lord, and just give her strength and fill her sciatic. Lord, just give her strength and endurance to handle the responsibilities and the serving. She has a servant's heart, Lord. And just I pray that you just keep her. And I pray for everybody here tonight, Lord, that you just speak to them in your way and touch each and everybody's life, especially this weekend, Lord. You're safe. Thank you for all you do for us. Bring us back safe someday in Jesus' name. I'm going to encourage you to sing tonight.
You should relate to, those who can bring dessert or others, somebody bring dirty rice.
Yeah.
Is there something?
It's hard. We are meeting at 4:30. The food has been ordered and paid for, so it will be here. And anybody who wants to bring a dessert or an appetizer or you can sign it. My chair, so you do that. You're not obligated to, just if you know. And anything you don't do, I'll just figure out Saturday. Like, I don't feel like there's enough dessert, so I'm sure, but, and, also, we have discussed, our kids are growing up, and so we've sort of decided that it's time to start thinking about phasing out of that other side of the building. It's just, we pay for it for every service that we meet. And, he's the youngest one here right now. If we needed to go back there, and as long as it's empty, I'm sure that they would rent it out to us again. But I just wanted to put the bug in your ears. We're gonna start clearing that area out. So there's stuff that you have over there that you want, you can take it. If you know of somebody that needs something and it's over there, where we can bless another family, feel free. Yeah, and just anything that we can do to be a blessing to someone, and if not, anything that's good. Justin and I will probably take down to the pregnancy center and do something of that nature. Anything that's junk, we'll end up tossing. So this doesn't need to be done tomorrow. We're looking by the end of next month.
Stop.
Yeah,
So the end of April, take it. Don't take it.
and it still will remain open because it's vacant, but. Yeah, there's other,
But stay out there.
correct.
We have a special occasion if we need that.
And we can just pay for one service, right?
We have a nurse office. We have Ryan's office.
Well, not Ryan's office, but the prayer room that happens. There's a TV that looks, everybody's there walking.
But they're walking around. So they should be. But if it was an.
Anyway, just throwing that out there. Right, you might feel like that many.
I do so much. They have to fall asleep and wait.
Yeah.
I wish you all have a good rest of your week.
All children. Let's set up tables.
Yeah.
That's right. Very. My ankle's the mess. Fine. So said we said doing business. So we're doing, I do long distance, which is not even films. It's all heart attacks, suicides, and just my rest. Right.